A true artist is not one who is inspired, but one who inspires others well. Well said by Salvador Dali. Good evening to the esteemed group of parents, guests, and students present on this virtual platform. A hearty welcome to you all. May I now request Mrs. Namrata Prasad, Headmistress, Delhi Public School, Patna, to address the audience.
Eleanor was right. She never looked nice. She looked like art, and art wasn't supposed to look nice. It was supposed to make you feel something. Well said by American author Rainbow Rowell. Art is one of those amazing things that anyone and everyone can do. It takes on many forms, such as painting, drawing, photography, writing, music, singing, dancing, acting, crafting, pottery, architecture, digital design, and the list goes on. A very good evening to one and all. I once again welcome you to this second day of art webinar. Any level of skill will do and any amount of imagination will suffice. We are born into this world to create, to find beauty around us and within us, and to interpret it in ways that move us emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually. Since the beginning of time, humans have been creating art, and we will continue to create until the end of time. This is where we find purpose. This is how we discover meaning in this great big expanse of chaos around us. We search, we seek, we witness, we question, we think, and we dream. It all leads us to our own special forms of art, whatever our preferences may be. Every year, the school organizes this art curated show at the end of the academic session, but unfortunately, due to the prevailing conditions, we were unable to do it this year. The intention of organizing these curated shows is basically to share with you the innovations and uniqueness brought in the pedagogy of art in general. It is believed that artistic minds have the power to create a better world. And hence, we at Delhi Public School have been striving hard to ignite this spark of creativity and imagination in the minds of our children. In this challenging and unprecedented times, when the entire world is trying to fight the pandemic, our children are silently playing with colors and brushes. They are calmly trying to hear their own voices through the echoes of silence that has given them those means to express their own work of art. It was in the year 2015 when we actually understood how art could empower the course of self-discovery and imagination in children, and that was the doorway which took a leap forward into the art education program of our school under the mentorship of the art experts from Art First Enterprises. The vision was to create and develop learning environments that nurture and strengthen imagination, visual literacy, creative skills, and cultural awareness of children and educators. It highlights the significant contribution that these arts have played in India's aesthetic, socio-cultural, and political history. Not taking much of your time, I would now like to acquaint you to the plethora of artwork done by the students of grades 4 and 5, which is in the form of drawings, still life sketches, and paintings. These artwork will definitely kindle your thoughts and give you an insight to look at things around you with a different perspective. The illustrations will boot out your stress, and you can truly listen to the echoes and innate expressions through them. Remember, wherever your passion lies, there you shall create. So now, let the curtains be raised and let the magical moments take off. Welcoming you all once again in this enraptured world of creativity, which would leave you enchanted and enthralled. It's my extreme pleasure to request our teacher moderator, Mrs. Shilpi Mehrotra, to carry forward the proceedings of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for setting the stage for the art lovers of Delhi Public School. As you said, we do believe that artistic minds have power to create a better world. It gives me immense pleasure to grace all of your presence in today's webinar, which is full of high-spirited children and panelists. To begin with, here is the list of panelists who are a part of our webinar. Mr. B. Vinod, Principal, Mrs. Namrata Prasad, Headmistress, Mrs. Anuja Sharan, and I, Mrs. Shilpi Mehrotra, moderators of the webinar. Art teacher, Mr. Sunil Kumar Chaudhary, art first mentor for our school, Mr. Abhinav Yagnik, our guest artist, Padma Shri Shyam Sharma, Mrs. Vidisha Shahi and Mrs. Shweta Saha, parent speakers, and students of DPS Patna, Kiana Singh, Class 4I, Sneh Shandilya, Class 4F, Pranavi Kishore, Class 4C, Archit Acharya, 5H, Pragya Pankaj, Class 5D, Advik Agarwal, Class 5I. To carry on with the topic of art and its various forms, we are here to discuss with you a widely known art form, sketching. Sketching is a process of roughly scribbling an idea on paper. It allows you to bring your ideas to life quickly so you can save time in the long run, and it's also a great way to brainstorm. From kids to adults, sketching can be done by anyone and anywhere and requires minimal effort. One need not be a perfectionist in order to sketch. All one needs is a pencil, a paper, and creativity. You can't make a mistake while sketching. It is not about drawing something to be as accurate as possible, but rather about capturing the essence of a person or an object. To do this, you need to be loose, bold, and not be afraid to make mistakes. It essentially allows the inner you to come out. For this reason, sketching is regarded as one of the most unique forms of art. Famous artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Vincent van Gogh began their careers through sketching. So bring your ideas to life and start sketching away. The coronavirus crisis had confined us and our students within the four walls of our respective homes. Although that didn't hinder our creative mindset, which thus led us to come up with a sketchbook art project. Here are a few sketching snippets showcasing the talents of our students of class 4 on the given topic, your most memorable journey. is just everyone to do that. Artistic. Art is not just about the creating. It's very This spectacle of 200 artworks before us was a sublime presentation of topics like black and white, color me sing, hand animals, sketchbook project, and trash art. Hand animals were creatively displayed by our students, and we just saw some of the most beautiful and magnificent forms of art showcased on an unconventional canvas. Our students' art was simply breathtaking, isn't it? Now, I would like to call upon students of grade 4 for some question-answer round. Over to you, Pranavi Kishore, student of grade 4C. Pranavi, what is one thing you would like to share about art class with all of us today?
Thank you for the question, ma'am. The one thing that I would like to share today about my art class is the freedom of dirting the paper. But we do that in a very creative way. We have learned that creativity in our art classes. Art, as my mother says, is not what I want to see, but what I want to make others see in my drawing. I, along with all my classmates, love art classes as we get ample opportunities to laugh at our friends' drawing. Since we all are not good at sketching, it's the color that defines our drawing. All these selections of color help us imagine and be creative. As I have read somewhere that art helps in cognitive development of kids, therefore, would I like to get involved more into it. Thank you.
Pranavi, that is something wonderful, where you and the other students get the creative liberty to give wings to your imagination. My next question is for Sneh Shandelia, grade 4F. Sneh, what is your favorite art project? Can you present it before the audience?
My favorite art project is Hand Animal, and today I am going to present a hand animal story. The story name is Elephant and the Little Ant. Once upon a time, there lived an elephant in a jungle. He was mightier than all the other animals. He always troubled the other animal in the jungle. In the same jungle, there lived a family of ants. They were a hard-working family who always kept to themselves. One day, as they were going in search of food, the big mean elephant threw water on them. Hey, what's the matter with you? Why do you keep troubling others? Oh, shut up, you tiny ant. One more word out of you, and I will walk over you and kill you. The little ant had no choice. It kept quiet and went on its way. Something needs to be done about it. The next day, when the ants were going, the tiny ant decided to teach the mean elephant a lesson. She showed her fellow ants the elephant sleeping, and she quietly climbed onto the elephant and made her way into the elephant's trunk. Once inside, she started biting the elephant. Ah, that hurts! Please stop! The elephant tried everything, but it couldn't stop the ant biting him or come out of its trunk. Such a big elephant became useless in front of a tiny ant. Please stop! Stop! Well, I hope now you know how others feel when you hurt them. Yes, I do. Please stop it now. Very well then. So the ant stopped biting the elephant and came out of its trunk. I am so sorry. I have understood we should not trouble anyone. I promise I will never ever do it again. Moral of the story is we should not trouble anyone or else they will trouble us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sneh, for reminding us that it always pays to be humble as conveyed vividly through the story. Now, my final question is for Kiana Singh, grade 4I. Kiana, when your art teacher introduced you to the sketchbook project, what were your first thoughts?
Thank you, ma'am, for the question. Ma'am, when our art sir talked about the sketchbook project, actually the whole class was very excited. So also showed us his own sketchbook that talked about the main character and the story that was created using that character. So I think I got probably more excited that it would be really fun and at the same time quite challenging to create a sketchbook of my own. I started thinking of an idea or a character on which my sketchbook would be developed. I thought of how and what material I would use to create my sketchbook and to put my story on a piece of paper. Finally, I reached on an idea that is a paintbrush. Not a normal paintbrush, but a magical paintbrush. The cover page of my sketchbook, that is why, is having a big paintbrush. The brush is big and bold. It is also sparkling, and I painted it with my favorite color, pink. I used a black cloth for the brush. I also made my favorite form of art, that is pop-up. Here, Amazing Dipsite is my favorite pop-up, as we're amazing, aren't we? Now, as Sir taught us that the story should flow, it should be drawn in the sketchbook along with the main character. Hence, I started drawing my story, my thought, and my imagination. In the next page of my sketchbook, I painted a monochrome black and white dull city, and I'm writing on the protagonist of my sketchbook, that is a magical paintbrush. In the drawing, I also made my pet, whose name is Violet. My drawing shows the brush sprouting out rainbow colors, painting the black and white city with beautiful colors so that it doesn't look dull anymore. I don't think we like black and white, do we? Also, I've drawn a fairy called Poppy. So as the name suggests, and also during that season, we have many poppy flowers in our garden. So my imagination pushed me forward
to use poppy leaves and petals for her gown. For clouds, I used cotton, and for shading, I used different H3 pencils. As my thoughts further climb, I draw in the next page my protagonist. It is shown as ruling the universe. It is a game made of pop-out, and it's coloring the universe with dazzling colors. Thus, my sketchbook is just the reflection of my thoughts that came to my mind when Sir talked of this project and the story that I weaved around that character. Thank you, ma'am.
Wow, that is indeed a great way of storing memories in the form of sketchbook, well illustrated by Kiana, where the protagonist was a paintbrush itself. Now, moving towards the next content of the webinar, we have the fifth graders who worked on the chapter Landscape, the very basis of existence. But it keeps changing form as one moves from rural to urban life. The movement not only brings a shift to the sheer vitality, but as well as quality inhabited in each landscape. The fifth grade Dipsites have worked on urbanscapes under the title of Cityscapes. Each has put forward their imagination on the canvas in a different manner, as each got guided by their own version, which was totally different for the other. This came naturally, as the elements of highlights were totally dependent on the moods and experiences. However, one thing was common. All agreed upon the fact that the buffaloes on the streets understood no traffic rules. Therefore, each brush had a different story to unfold from the same urbanscape, even though they were witnessing it in their own imagination. Yes, imagination. All of us know that last year March was a complete surprise to all of us, especially our kids, as their free life became quite caged up. The city became quiet. The city became empty. The chaos of the city was replaced by an uncanny stillness. There were instances where zebras and leopards were seen roaming on the vacant roads, and peacocks were seen dancing in the backyards of houses in some cities. The birds were seen flying freely in the blue skies, and the little sparrows were heard chirping in the balcony. On the other hand, our budding artists were busy creating a chaos of city in their minds, showcasing on canvas. The video that you will see in a short while depicts the chaos of the city from a child's perspective. The panorama we witnessed right now was an honest representation of the chaos we used to have pre pandemic. It had in its wake a kaleidoscope of abstraction and art, drawings, views of landscape, mix and match, and projects like Oops, I Shrunk Myself, portraits to bring out one's own uniqueness, ending on some still life of shoe by our young artists. And viewers, do you realize the video had a collection of almost 300 artworks? Now, I would like to call upon our fifth graders of Juniving for a questionnaire session. We have here with us Archit Acharya from class 5H. Archit, my question to you is, you have been a part of the art program for the past 5 years. Can you elaborate and tell us about this journey of yours?
Good evening to all. From the beginning, I had a keen interest in art. And when I joined the school and became the part of the art program, it further increased. During this journey of 4 years, it was mind blowing to learn so many things. I also learned many skills. One of them was how to express my feelings through art. When I was in second standard, my teachers taught me through the playway method to draw shapes, how to color, and many more things. In standard third, I learned how to use these things in an actual artwork. Standard fourth was just a step further. In standard fifth, I learned many types of artworks. Some of the artworks I like the most in standard fifth are landscape and abstraction in art. In landscape, I learned chaos of a city inspired by the nature, a view from the window. In this topic, chaos of the city was my favorite artwork. In abstraction in art, I learned action painting and geometrical abstraction. The teachers here are just so amazing, and even the style of teaching. Hats off to them. Thank you.
Well, Archit, I must compliment. Your journey so far has really enriched you a lot. And you seem to remember all so well, and that too with precision.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, Pragya, it's your turn. Pragya is from class 5D. Pragya, when your art teacher introduced you the project Chaos of the City, what was the first thing that came to your mind? Please share with us.
Good evening, everyone. When my art teacher explained me about this topic, the chaos of the city, many thoughts started coming into my mind, which created chaos in my mind too. Chaos is basically disorder of something. I was thinking about the chaos on roads, in wash basins of our kitchens due to used up utensils kept for washing, chaos in fairs, and so on. I was also thinking about the chaos during mock drills when we started its practice earlier in the school, but it soon became orderly due to training given to us. One sad thing which came into my mind while thinking about this topic was about accidents which happens on the roads due to the chaos. I think living in a city, one cannot avoid chaos. Thank you.
You have expressed so well the chaos that you felt in your mind with the introduction of this topic by your art teacher.
Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome, Pragya. My final question goes to Advik Agarwal of class 5I. Advik, how did you find doing art in online classes compared to doing art in your physical classroom?
Good evening to one and all present here. Online classes were a new experience for all of us, and each one of us has faced difficulties up to some level. At first, when I heard about doing art in online classes, I was into a fix. How is it going to happen? Will I be able to enjoy doing art as I used to do in my physical classes? It was fun doing art classes in our physical classroom. While doing art, we could easily take the help and guidance from our teachers along with fellow classmates. Getting in groups and doing art with different ideas was so much fun. Was all this possible in online art class? This thought crossed my mind. Yes, of course, I took this as a challenge. In the beginning, it was difficult for me to understand the concept easily. I had to do the artwork all alone, sitting at my home, putting a lot of effort by myself. But gradually, things settled down and I started enjoying every online art class. In online art classes, we got opportunity to see and experience audio video clips, images, films, which gave us better understanding of the subject and the topic. It also helped us in increasing our creativity and thinking process. It made me feel more confident and I was able to understand things easily, even when I was physically not present in the school. Though physical art classes were enjoyable and I missed them, but benefits of online art classes also can't be overlooked. Thank you.
That were genuine thoughts that you expressed so well. At the same time, you gave due credit to the online art classes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Due to this pandemic, parents and their children were confined in their homes. But this also turned out to be quite fruitful, as with the help of virtual classes, we saw a proactive approach being taken by parents where they assisted the teachers in nurturing their child's growth. Now, I would like to call upon these enthusiastic parents of grade 4 and 5 for a question answer round with Anuja ma'am.
Thank you, Shilpi ma'am. My first question is for Mrs. Vidisha Shahi, parent of Vihan Singh of class 4G. Ma'am, can you tell me what changed for you with the introduction of online art class? And what were the challenges faced by you? What were the opportunities you saw in it?
Good evening, everyone. Initially, I was very skeptical about the success of online classes. It was such an alien concept for an Indian parent. And then to make matters a little more complicated, I saw an art period in the timetable. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that art too could be taught online. I mean, how would sir explain what had to be done? And what would the children understand? And how would they create on their own? These questions plagued me. Along with this, I also knew that the children had their academic courses with end of grade exams. And obviously, that would consume most of their attention and time. However, with the progression of the art class, I realized that this once a week art class was a breather for them. As they acclimate to a new style of teaching and learning, an art class was just what they needed. I also realized that art was not just about a correct brush stroke or choosing a correct color palette. Art is about self-expression. Different projects were given to the children to encourage them to create and perform, even while the school buildings were shut. I remember a few like the flipbook project depicting your favorite day, making sketches through irregular shapes, their take on Independence Day, or my son's favorite, the trash art project. All this, I believe, helped the children in expressing their viewpoints creatively and finding interesting things to do during a mentally depressing phase, which was the lockdown. For example, during the trash art project, I remember the entire household came together, from the grandparents to the hired help. Everybody looked for suitable trash to make art with. It was a bonding exercise which parallelly tickled everyone's gray cells. Such involving activities not only helped my son gain some perspective, but also brought everyone together to do something artistic and creative. Plus, the children continued to share their work with their classmates online. So, as they say, that art is not just about the creating process, but the sharing process as well. So, I couldn't be happier with the way the things turned out. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The parent partnership program really came out in the true sense during the online mode. Very truly said, ma'am. My next question is for Mrs. Shweta Saha, parent of Amrit Shah of 5I. Ma'am, my question to you is, how do you think this art curated show is motivating your child to enhance his overall performance?
Shweta ma'am, you are on mute. Please unmute.
Now I am audible?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, it's okay.
Fine. Fine.
Good evening, all of you. Thank you for having me in this webinar. Online art exhibition is a very good way to motivate the children. It is very challenging work to imagine something and draw it on the canvas or paper. And expression of creativity comes from imagination. Here, students express themselves in the form of art. They have used vibrant colors, which express them nicely. When idea comes in mind, it means we are building layers of creativity. No doubt, our art teacher always promotes the student to think and draw. It develops children by all means. When they draw 2 or more dimensional lines, straight, transverse, angular, curved, perspective, these all help to improve them in math and science. This curated art show encourages them to do this. My son always surprises me by drawing something innovative. This art is going to teach the student to live artistically and creatively. Certainly, they would be successful in future also. Here, I must say, superb presentation of art, and it is going to inspire not only students, but others also. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of motivation. Importance of parental involvement in a child's education cannot be overstated. Parents are the ultimate role models for children. Every word, every movement, and action has an effect. No other person or outside force has a greater influence on a child than the parent. Thank you, parents, for your participation. Now, I would like to call upon our very versatile art teacher from TPS Patna, Mr. Sunil Kumar Chaudhary. Sir, can you share with us your best practice during the online mode?
Good evening. Art for me is an approach of obtaining and imparting knowledge which acts as a medium to reach the hearts of my students. The best beginning as an art educator I have taken is to make my student perceive the art through the eyes of the creator. Landscapes are the most popular themes in visual art. Young artists are charmed towards landscape without understanding the different feature of it. They focus on just the visual approach, but as an art educator, it's my duty to make the student see the wider perspective and also make them embrace the other elements of art form. For example, the beauty of different landscapes evokes some memories, moods, and feelings related to place and transform the status of the mind. Landscapes are of various types. Some display the calm and serene view of the villages. However, others display the peace of the mountains and valleys. Cityscapes or urban landscape depict the noise, the movement, and the energy of large number of people who live there. Cityscapes and traffic all become interesting elements of the cityscapes. To increase the power of observation towards this subject, the first step is making the student to understand to play the audio of the chaos like honking, chattering, and noise in the marketplace. The cluttering made around by people, the bustling at the airport and railway platform, and so on. During this process, children visualize all the commotion by closing their eyes, and then they depict the same chaos on the canvas. The thought process helps the children to fill the gaps which they missed in their observation. To deliver the concept, open-ended questions are asked from the young artist, which broadens their thought process. For example, when children visit the fair, during Chhat or a marketplace, mall, railway platform, or when they visit a gathering, what do they see and actually understand? It encourages the imagination of children and they understand about the order and disorder. They are also able to differentiate the city life and village life. As young artists, they need to understand the hidden message in the landscape themselves. I, as an art teacher, stimulate their thoughts and ideas to encourage them to share the same through their artwork. This is what I do as my best practice.
Sir, it takes great patience to help shape up little minds towards creativity, and you have been quite successful in that. Thank you for sharing your best practice during the online mode. It gives me immense pleasure to call upon our art mentor, Mr. Abhinav Yagnik. He is a freelance and a multidisciplinary artist, an art educator based in Delhi. He is a recipient of Summer School at Alps Art Academy, Switzerland 2018, artist of international participation and fame in terms of exhibitions, a guest faculty at ISDI Mumbai. He seeks out different strategies and models to facilitate a creative classroom. To top it all, he is also associated with NGOs. Abhinav sir, my question to you is, what changes or differences in the approach of taking art classes do you see in the teachers at our school?
Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, thank you so much, Anuja ma'am, for this warm welcome, warm introduction. And I would say good evening to everyone present here, all the parents, teachers, children, headmistress and principal, sir. As you had asked this question, teachers have always used a different approach to teach art concepts. It's never the same method, but teachers look at comprehensive experience, that is props, storytelling, poetry, movement, sensory experience. Also, what you had witnessed now that the children were showing, they were performing using their hands. So teachers are very receptive of suggestions. They are problem solvers, thinkers, and up to take any challenge, just like this online exhibition. So I would say through teamwork and peer learning, teachers have overcome many hurdles within the classroom scenario. So this have made teachers of DPS Patna to take this curriculum forward as a teacher researchers.
Sir, we are humbled by your response. All this was not possible without your mentorship. Kindly give your opinions about the children's work in terms of originality and creativity and the changes you wish to see.
Children speaks their mind. They are the good observers and feel free to express their thoughts and imagination regardless of any skill. Each artwork made by children is a capsule of their own experience and understanding of the world they live in. As you could see in Chaos of the City, a couple of artworks, children have, they have made protests and many, although the events that were going throughout the year of 2020-21. So, and therefore each artwork is special because they make it their own. They use their observation to express whatever they have in mind and what they see. So changes I wish to see would be the use of contemporary medium, which would be digital, that we witness in our culture. So as technology shapes our daily lives, how can we as teachers will incorporate these digital tools within our teaching and learning practice? Even I don't have an answer, but just with this thought, I see art making limitless and teachers have become tech savvy. So the need of the hour, definitely we are gradually progressing towards the same.
Truly said, sir. The need of the hour has really paved our path. Sir, what 21st century skills do you think will be developed through art integration, and how is it different from conventional art classes?
Ma'am, teaching learning approach has changed in our education landscape, and art integration is a mandate that our NEP has declared and provides variety of possibilities in learning a concept through art integration with another subject. So integration is an interesting term where each subject holds similar value, and through making, thinking, which is the creative process. Students learn the concept through doing. Students indulge in creative process to understand theory. So this combination of thinking, making, integration, and other subjects gives students power of communication, collaboration, flexibility, leadership, and creativity. And these are the 21st century skills that anybody would need to success in their career.
Thank you, sir. The pandemic and the changing scenario globally has changed each one's perspective towards life. Thinking out of the box is the need of the hour. So you, as an art maestro, has given an insight into the changing world of art. Thank you, sir. To take us through the journey of art and its brief history, we have now here with us today a very special guest. He is regarded as a legendary printmaker and painter who for the past 50 years has constantly thrived in the field of print medium and graphic arts. He is also amongst the very few artists still actively working in the indigenous wool print medium. He was conferred with the highly coveted Padma Shri Award for his work in art. His subjects in art are mostly inspired from nature, and he tends to add satirical messages in many of his artworks. It is my pleasure to introduce to all of you present today world-renowned artist and Padma Shri Award holder, Shri Shyam Sharma. Sir, what is your message for the young budding artist, and also share with us your takeaway from the webinar? So please.
Namaskar. DPS पटना का आर्ट इको आर्ट एग्जीबिशन आज हमने देखा। कोरोना पीरियड में हमारे आर्ट स्टूडेंट ने जो काम किया है उसको देखने के बाद ऐसा लगा कि जैसे हमारे आर्ट स्टूडेंट फिगरेटिव, नॉन फिगरेटिव, सब्जेक्टिव पोर्ट्रेट, लैंडस्केप, और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि इन्होंने एक एटमॉस्फेयर को भी पेंट किया है, पॉल्यूशन। तो ये पॉल्यूशन एक एब्स्ट्रैक्शन की तरफ हमारे विद्यार्थियों को ले जा रहा है। ये विजुअल आर्ट में बहुत अच्छी चीज है कि इससे हमारे आर्ट स्टूडेंट का जो देखने और सोचने का नजरिया है वो स्थूल से सूक्ष्म, फिगरेटिव से नॉन फिगरेटिव की यात्रा है। और मैंने देखा कि इन्होंने जो पोर्ट्रेट सीरीज बनाई है उसमें जो एक्सप्रेशन है, ये एक्सप्रेशन बच्चों के माइन्यूटली देखने का रिजल्ट है। आर्ट, विजुअल आर्ट में देखने का बहुत महत्व है कि हम कैसे देखते हैं, क्योंकि जैसा देखते हैं वैसा ही विचार करते हैं और वैसा ही बनाते हैं। और इतिहास साक्षी है। जिस देश के लोग, जिस देश के बच्चे जितने नए अंदाज में देख सकते हैं, वो देश ज्ञान विज्ञान की नई नई खोज करता हुआ दिखाई देता है। क्रिएटिविटी बच्चों को एक मेंटल एक्सरसाइज कराती है, जो लीक से हटकर, जो चला आ रहा है उससे अलग हटकर कैसे सोचा जाए। इन बच्चों ने हाथ के फोन बनाकर जो एक स्टोरी टेलिंग की फीलिंग पैदा की। कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि कागज पेंसिल रंग से ही बात की जाए। ये स्टोरी टेलिंग जो वेस्ट मटेरियल घर में पड़ा है उससे आर्ट ऑब्जेक्ट बनाना, इससे दिखाता है कि इनमें क्रिएटिविटी कितनी ज्यादा है। ये बच्चे आगे चलकर डॉक्टर बने, इंजीनियर बने, बिजनेसमैन बने, जिस किसी भी प्रोफेशन में जाएंगे वहां भीड़ से अलग इनका पर्सनालिटी दिखाई देगा। विजुअल आर्ट पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट का सबसे अच्छा तरीका है। इससे बच्चे नए तरह से सोचना शुरू करते हैं और उसकी शुरुआत होती है पेंटिंग से, विजुअल आर्ट से। और मुझे तो लगता है ये सारा श्रेय जाता है ऑनलाइन बच्चों को आर्ट पढ़ाना। इट्स नॉट ए जोक। हमारे जो डीपीएस के कला शिक्षक हैं, इन्होंने किस तरह से अपने बच्चों को चार्ज किया, मैं आप बताना चाहूंगा कि आर्ट को पढ़ाया नहीं जा सकता और सब्जेक्ट की तरह आर्ट नहीं पढ़ाए जा सकते। हम अपने विद्यार्थियों को बैटरी की तरह चार्ज करते हैं, उनमें वो एनर्जी भरते हैं, देखने की एनर्जी, और उस एनर्जी को हम कागज पर, कैनवस पर कैसे उतारें, इसका ध्यान रखते हैं। मैं बधाई देता हूं डीपीएस को, यहाँ के कला शिक्षकों को, यहाँ की प्रिंसिपल को और आप सबको, जिन्होंने इस कोरोना पीरियड के बाद बच्चों का आर्ट वर्क हम सबको दिखाया, उनकी क्रिएटिविटी से परिचय कराया। थैंक यू वेरी मच। आपने जो मुझे बुलाया, बहुत बहुत आभार, धन्यवाद।
That was very insightful for each one of us, sir. And I am positive that our guests and students present here must have found it thoroughly informative. Before we conclude this webinar, I take this honor to invite our principal, Mr. B. Vinod, for his overview. Sir, please.
Sir, please unmute.
Thank you, Shilpi ma'am. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. सर प्रणाम, श्याम शर्मा सर प्रणाम आपको। भाई इतने बड़े कलाकार के बीच में हमको भी बोलने का मौका मिल रहा है, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, क्योंकि शर्मा सर को हम लोग हर समय वो पेडेस्टल में देखते हैं, जहाँ पे हम लोग सोचते हैं उनका थोड़ा बहुत भी हम लोग के बच्चों को मिल जाए या हम लोग को मिल जाए तो बहुत बड़ी बात है। तो धन्यवाद सर, आप आए इसमें। और as far as this Art First program is concerned, we are really thankful to Mrs. Ritu Khoda, Mrs. Sharmila Samant, Mr. Abhinav, and so many others, the complete team, and the way they have turned our thinking about art. So that is more important, because unless and until we start believing that whatever they are giving us, it makes sense, we will never pass down to the next generation. And the best thing was our art teachers, Mr. Sunil, Mr. Sanjay, and Mr. Madan Gopal. All three of them, they were very enthusiastic, and along with them the art teachers of class 2 and 3, like they always go from one place to the other, the way they have learned art, because they were not from this field at all. So it was the contribution, and it was a big achievement for teachers that Art First made them as mentors, and now they are the ones who are going to take this journey forward. तो बोलते हैं ना, चित्रकार के बारे में बोलते हैं कि रंग चित्रकार के जीवन में रंग भरे न भरे, परंतु देखने वाले की आंखों में जरूर भर देता है। तो वही बात है कि हम लोग जैसे रंग देखते हैं तो हम लोग को बड़ी खुशी होती है। लेकिन मुझे याद है कुछ एक्सपर्ट्स का मैंने सुना था, तो उसमें उन्होंने एक चीज़ कहा था कि यानी हम लोग हर समय कोई एक ड्राइंग या पेंटिंग देखते हैं तो हम लोग अपनी अपनी राय उसके बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा बोलते हैं। जैसे कल भी मैं बता रहा था कि लास्ट सपर, so whenever we see that picture, Last Supper, the first thing that comes into our mind is Jesus Christ is at the center and he is going to be crucified. He was crucified just after that Last Supper. And we never see the colors, we never see the costumes, we never see the light, the painting that was made. So we should start appreciating the painting rather than coming to a conclusion that what that picture is all about, what that painting is all about. Of course, people say that a good painting is one which depicts a complete story, and a good story is one which can be drawn into the canvas. So we understand that, but we should not come to conclusions. That is why I remember Sri Ashok Bhaumik Saab, he said very clearly that liberate children from references. Yesterday I was discussing with the other group also. I said it's so common that is the moment you say blue man, yellow man and yellow lady. So we come to a conclusion that Ram, Lakshman and Sita. Right? Similarly, a blue man with a peacock feather. I can be also a blue man with a peacock feather, but the thing is immediately we'll refer that to Lord Krishna. So this is a problem with us, and rather we should appreciate that if we have drawn something. So it is always said that art is a form of medium, is a medium of freedom. So whatever the artist has drawn, it is not necessary that the people who look at that, they also have the same feeling. So always this art goes with feeling. And I'm happy that it's not only the art which is related to visual arts, but there are so many other factors of arts, forms of arts, performing arts. Our school is has taken a great leap in this, and I must thank my Provost Chairman, Mrs. Sanjeev Kumar, that is, who is a visionary, who thought that this subject should also have the same weightage as any other academic subject, like English, Hindi, Maths, Physics, Chemistry, or Science. Art is also equivalent to that. And that is why CBSE also thought after so many years, what Mr. Abhinav was telling, now CBSE has introduced. Whereas they have thought about this way back, but we have taken it 5 years back. Correct? So we are 5 years ahead of all the CBSE schools as far as art integration is concerned. So a big thank you to Art First team. Mr. Abhinav, please convey our regards to starting from Ritu Khoda ma'am to everybody below, because it's not that we are going to finish off this coordination. Rather, I would say that it's just a starting where you are telling your disciples, that is, you carry forward, right? So, but the guidance is always required, and we'll be falling back on you as and when required. And please visit our school quite often, the way you have been visiting before, and teach us art, right? Art, artist, and the world, the universe. They create the universe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your vision with us. On behalf of Team DPS, I extend a heartfelt thanks to all our panelists, guest artists, parent speakers, and the wonderful audience for their enthusiastic participation and patient listening. I also take this opportunity of thanking the Art First team mentors, especially our school mentors led by Ms. Ritu Koda, Ms. Sharmila Samant, Mr. Abhinav Yagnik, the entire Art First team, and the wonderful squad of enthusiastic students, our very own Dipsides, for their exuberant participation in the art education program of our school. We are indeed thankful to each one of you for making today's webinar possible. Wishing you all a colorful Holi. Thank you and stay safe.